Yeah. Hey man, what's up?
What's up, Jason? How's it going?
Good man, doing good. It's good to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah,
Thanks for booking me.
yeah, of course.
I put a profile on that thing like a while back. So like I'm surprised I actually finally
Yeah,
get
I've
back.
been using it. I booked five, and then two people accepted it. Um, and like I kind of got introduced to it because of Trevor. I went to an event, I met Trevor, and then he was like talking to me about how I could just book people through there because I've tried podcastguest.com and that just didn't really work well because I was getting messages from like a bunch of people from India, and I was like, dude, I'm not having like random people on the podcast. Like that's
Yeah.
just weird. So then I was like, okay, we'll go to Guestio. And then there's some people on there though that I want to have on. I just want to get more views first and then have them on. Because I
Yeah,
just got back on the train like 30, 60 days ago. And the thing that intrigued me was that you run an agency too. So I feel like we're gonna have a good conversation.
for
Um,
sure.
so yeah, it'll be interesting because dude, to be honest, I don't like the ecom space and you guys are in ecom. So it's like interesting to me. So I'll like ask you a bunch of questions and stuff. I don't really have like a crazy big intro. I just kind of get into it. Like when I like since I'm already recording right now, this is kind of like the podcast, but I'll obviously introduce you for a quick intro. Um now how do you say your last name?
Don't worry, everyone butchers it. Just say it's Liu.
Lou? Okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool.
yeah.
All right, dope. All right. Welcome to the Jason Mojo podcast. I'm here with Darwin Liu. He is the owner of X Agency. They are one of the leading ecom agencies out there. They have, a bunch of different case studies on their website, multiple services like SEO, email marketing, remarketing, paid social, and analytics rehabilitation. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
of course, man. So biggest thing that I was talking to you about before was um, that we stay out of the e-com space because of low margins and it's like very affected by the economy and et cetera. Cause we just go for high ticket lead gen. I have a couple of like high ticket e-com stores and I want to get your opinion on this because we're going into like what you might or what you might not think is like a recession. And I want to see your opinion on like the way you look at the e-com space right now, who's going to win, who's going to lose. Because from what I'm seeing, like it's very hard with ad spend being higher right now and cost per impressions being higher to really have a low ticket e-com store make money unless you have the right AOV and LTV and the right systems in place. So I just want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, so a couple of things, man. I'd say for the solo entrepreneur, right? If you're going to start some sort of e-com store, I have a bunch of friends who do drop shipping that still works, but the spin to that is high ticket drop shipping items. So, at the end of the day, low ticket items don't work nowadays if you're starting your own store, right? They sell things like Pilates machine, fireplaces where the prices are 5-6 grand a piece, and what ends up happening is the CPCs are maybe like $1 to $2, which is almost the same as the low ticket items anyways, and then the margins are there, so they're making money there. So that's not dying, that's still going. In terms of coming out, starting brand new, thinking that you're going to make a buck right off the bat, I'd say that's probably not happening right off the bat. Like if you're getting into this in the e-commerce space and you're trying to do this the normal way, you're trying to run your own store, start something going, you kind of you kind of have to treat it like a loss leader where you're putting in money, you're losing money, you're building a brand, you're building an organic value people are talking about, you're building an email list. And I'd say, whenever a startup comes to me, I'm saying if you don't have any sort of funding with you, and you're thinking that you're going to make a profit of 3x ROAS within 3 months, that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
So
people don't want to hear that because they saw some ad and they bought into some bullshit course and someone told them that all you need is like our store template and you can make money. And then they come to an ad agency and they're like, so you guys run ads, I'm looking to get a 2 to 3 ROAS like this person says and this person says. And it's like, there's so many things that you have in place for that to actually work. So
for sure.
the next question I have for you is like, what do you look for? Because I break it down into 4 key parts, which is like number one is your offer. So if your offer sucks and people don't understand how important it is to have like an irresistible offer. So if you don't have a good offer, there's really no creative or landing page that will save you because if your offer is crap, no one's going to come into the ecosystem in the first place. Second thing is the landing page, which is like, okay, if you have a good offer, now you just have to relay the right messaging on the lander. And then the third are the creatives, and the fourth are like the KPIs, which are the AOV, your LTV, your conversion rates, et cetera. So you actually have predictability in the business. So the biggest one that I like to kind of get into is the whole like creative part. So do you push a lot of your clients to do UGC, or are you like, what's your methodology behind that?
Yeah, so this is where I get in arguments with folks all the time, and or more like debates, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you know, and I say this all the time, which is a perfect example might be this, right? We had a client, they sold ready to eat meals that they delivered monthly. They had a brand team with different agency, then they had us as a paid marketing performance marketing agency, right? And you know, there was a CTA button that I said put on the top right, right? I said CTA top right, and he was like, "No, that doesn't mesh with the brand. The brand needs to be clean. The brand needs to be this." And I'm just like, "Yo, dude, you can build your brand. You can be Nike later on, but if you can't make a sale right now because of proper conversion rate tactics, then I can care less, right?" So for me, it's always the creative is the bare minimum for me. We do a working bare minimum that can work. That's based on best
Okay.
practices. We don't spend too much time on that, just because from at least our experience and our expertise, delivery is more important, or your marketing system is more important.
Yeah.
If you have a bare minimum creative, right, that actually can at least convert, it's not a shitty, crappy, stupid, like horribly written grammar creative. You have a creative that bare minimum has your offer, talks about this, talks about that, nothing crazy about it, no sales gimmicks, no sales text at all. If I can actually take that same budget and multiply your visits, if you were getting 5,000 visits and I could get 10,000 visits with that shitty creative, I'd rather focus on doing that versus all my time working on this one creative that might increase my conversion rates by 10, 15%. So for us, it's always the marketing system, or how can we actually get more traffic at the same budget you're doing based off of running a correct marketing program.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what we get a lot of complaints about from clients in the e-com space is like, oh, like this page looks too direct responsive. And I'm like, unfortunately, you kind of have to do that. And I'm like, bro, you're not like Adidas or Nike. Who gives a shit about a brand right now?
Exactly. I say the same thing too. And they're always like, dude, look at Nike, look at Adidas, look at how cheap their stuff is. Or look at ASOS. I'm like, dude, use Wayback Machine, check it 10 years ago. I bet you it was just a store that sold stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
they
The other
the
thing that they
brand
don't
came, yes.
realize, the other thing they don't realize though is that they've spent over billions of dollars. Like you're just some random Joe Schmo. You don't have $1 billion to spend on Super Bowl commercials and all that other shit to build awareness. So it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
they're just out of touch. And direct response scares them because people have said bad things about direct response. Where it's like, oh, you do direct response marketing. Oh, you're manipulating people. You're hitting psychological triggers that make us buy shit that we really don't want to. You have us click buttons that, even though they say click this to add to your order, you're scamming us because it's an upsell that's not legit. And it's like, it's like you can run as good marketing as possible, but you can't fix common sense, unfortunately.
And I think the majority
Yeah,
of people don't have it
yeah.
nowadays. That's the crazy thing too. It's like they don't understand that, people complain about privacy and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'd rather have random shit that's served to me. I'd rather have
Yeah.
things that actually, if it's a direct response, that's something that I like and I'm actually interested in. Sure, why not serve it to me? I'd rather spend money on that than something stupid. So
Yeah. And then the other side of the coin is like, what do you look for as far as like, so there's a big thing that people don't realize is that like, are you running custom landers or are you running more traffic to collection pages or just singular product pages? Because now you're looking at what the best front end product is, and then you're upselling and cross selling other things that would help them in the ecosystem.
yeah, so for us, it depends on which client, to be quite honest. Some clients want custom landers to test for different sort of product placements on the product page itself. Others just want to run it the way it is.
Yeah.
We do have some B2B clients that we do custom landers for, right? I say B2B, lead gen is probably 20% of
Yeah.
our business, that we always do custom landers for. But for ecom, that's a little bit different. It's not like we have we have an offer page that we're doing for this specific product or whatever. We're just testing different placements on the product page itself. For say, let's just add reviews here, or let's add a description here, or let's change the images, things like that. That's all we test for. So nothing crazy.
Okay. Now, what do you think are the lowest hanging fruits for ecom brands right now to increase their conversion rate?
Lowest hanging fruits. Let's see. One thing I would say is emails. I think people are always jumping on the shiny objects, right? Whether it's Facebook or TikTok or Pinterest or whatever it is. But email for our clients is still the bread and butter
Now
for
you're using Klaviyo for all of them because they run it through Shopify.
a majority of them. So
Yeah.
Klaviyo, and also we have a couple of big boys that use ListTrack, the
Okay.
SendGrid, things like that. So
Yeah,
so they
yeah,
use a bigger ones. But yeah, I'd say email should still comprise the 12 to 15% of your business, right? If you can picture running this for the longest time, you have an email list of 1 million people, you blast out one email with 1% conversion rate. Like that's gold right there. So even when I was first starting out, maybe like 10 years ago, right? It was always email list. And for some reason, somehow, I think that got kind of lost. And now it's like, oh, let's do TikTok, let's do Pinterest, let's do Snapchat, let's do this and let's that.
Well, it's because
email
there's so much, there's so much tech coming out, all this AI, like it's good for the world, but there's just so many new softwares and methodologies that people can try that they think will make them money. So I don't know if you know about this app, but for abandoned cart recovery rates, this might help you. There's an app called TextCart. I don't know if you know about it or use it, but that is like the most insane shit I've ever seen in my life. So like we have clients who have like, how like not massive big corporate accounts, but smaller clients who have 7 to 10% recovery rates on abandoned carts. Yeah. Bro, this app that we have is getting like 45-50%, and it's all AI. It's all like text message done for you, and it's like $200 a month. And then they take 2.5% of the sales, and I'm literally recovering like 50% of abandoned carts with this text messaging app. And people,
tell me what's the difference between that and say just a normal SMS from say Klaviyo?
SMS bump and then Klaviyo is that okay? So SMS bump, in my opinion, sucks. And then we use TextCart to replace the SMS from Klaviyo and SMS bump. And TextCart runs on its own and gets 35 to 50% recoveries. And then Klaviyo with the emails gets another 10 to 15.
So I guess maybe I asked the wrong question. Why is what was it, TextCart better than Klaviyo SMS?
It's because they actually put a virtual VA behind the text.
Oh, it's just really.
So they say AI, but like they do follow up and nurture, and they don't tell you. Like I had to talk to the owner, and I found him on LinkedIn. I was like, bro, how are you recovering so many abandoned carts? He was like, little do people realize that we have like these very cheap $2 an hour Philippine VAs who are actually doing the texts and following up, and it nurtures them. Dude, it's freaking crazy.
I gotta try that shit. TextCart.
Yeah, it's TXT. It's not like TEXT. It's TXTCART. Dude, it's nuts.
All right, I for sure would definitely try this shit out, man. Hopefully it works out.
And then with the Klaviyo, we just run the abandoned cart email sequence, but we don't do like the bullshit template one. We do like 5 emails every 2 hours. So the first one goes out within 30 minutes. Second one goes out in an hour and a half after that. Third one goes out 6 hours, then 12, then 24.
Got it.
Yeah. And then we'll do like, hey, the first email is like, hey, go back and grab it. Second email is here's a discount to go grab it. Third one is a higher discount, go grab it. Fourth one is higher discount plus free shipping. And then the fifth one is, hey, pay overtime with Sezzle or Klarna plus get free shipping and discount.
You just bombard them over and over. That's what we do too,
Yeah.
I think a lot of I think every time we talk about email, CEOs are like, I feel like it hurts our consumer base. And I'm just like, stop using the word feel, right? Just look at the metrics. And honestly, like they're either going to be a customer or they're not. So you either bombard them until they buy.
And that's the thing, dude. Like people make emotional decisions about it. I'm like, numbers don't lie. People do. Like, who cares if someone's offended by an email or getting spammed too much? They're not supposed to be your customer anyway.
Exactly. That's like, exactly what I say too. No, we're in the same page.
So it's like, and then what do you use to track the client's numbers for like their cohorts and their LTV? Do you use like Lifetimely? Because that's the thing that we've been using a lot.
It's still GA. We're a GA company just because at the end of the day, our clients, right? They come from other agencies as well, and GA is sort of the backbone of how we do all tracking. So it's something that everyone understands. But,
okay, cool. Yeah, cool. And then as far as like traffic sources, like what do you think is the most effective traffic source going into 2023? Like what are you looking for to be like the big behemoth?
I honestly still think, well, it kind of really depends on your business, right? TikTok is a great medium for certain product categories. I'd say things like makeup or things that like people can talk about and sell. For sure, I think Meta, if you want to call it Meta, is still like a beast. And I think it at the end of the day, there's so much bad press that people are moving away from it. So CPCs are there. At the end of the day, dude, their tech works, man. Their audience size is freaking huge, which is why Google's afraid of them. So for me, it's really Facebook. That's I always, it's sort of a life philosophy too, to be like a contrarian where you go the opposite of where everyone else is going. And if everyone's running from Meta, then we should be putting more money into Meta.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about the whole perf max on like Google Shopping? Do you think that hurt? Because personally, I think Google Shopping was better before Perf Max came because they added all these nuances. And when I was running standard shopping campaigns, I was getting a way higher ROAS. And now I see people that are like making this claim that Perf Max is better because it adjusts their budget. And I'm like, to be honest, I liked the old shopping campaigns better.
The funny thing is our client is going through this thing with us right now where they're like, can we do manual shopping instead of PMAX, right? And it was like, unfortunately, there's still some that we can do on manual shopping, but Google's moving away from that. To be quite honest, right now, I honestly hate it. I think it's Google's, scam. It's kind of like a Vantage Plus for Facebook, where they tell you it's better, it's easier, but they remove every single thing you can see, and then it's just like you have no control right now.
Yeah.
So honestly, a lot of our clients do complain too. It's like, we can't add negatives, we can't see what's converting, we can't, like everything's mishmash in there. I can't even block out brand, so brand shows up in PMAX all the time, and it's like no control. So honestly, I think it's just Google's way of making more money right now. But I do feel that they will fix it eventually as it comes out. It's kind of like DSAs, if you know what that is. When they first started a while back, they used a DSA with dynamic search ads, where they crawl your website for and bid on long tail keywords just based off what the content on your website is. When it first came out, it totally sucked, right? But then as they worked on it, it got better and better. So I honestly do think that it will be better, but right now it does suck more than smart shopping or normal shopping as well.
Okay. And this is like a little quick critical thinking question to kind of wrap this up. So I get a lot of questions about this, and I actually don't have a data-based answer. And I feel like because you run more e-com stores, you would know. On product pages where people are picking their product, they're clicking add to cart. Do you have the add to cart button go to a pop-up in the top right-hand corner to where they can continue shopping, or do you like to go straight to the upsell, then to cart, then to checkout? Like, what have you seen convert better from the add to cart button onward?
So what we've seen better, well, add to cart at the end of the day, once they click on it, we don't send them to any other page, right? We do want them to continue shopping though, if possible. So the best recommendation that we always give is to add to cart and have some sort of pop-up that shows customers also purchased, customers also liked, where we're just trying to increase the AOV.
Okay. Now, if they click those, do you add it to the cart or do you let them go to the product page?
It goes to that product page so that it can happen again and again, So we're not sending them direct to checkout, because for us, it's like, what, if we send them directly to checkout, they might just check out. But if they're going to add the cart, I feel like they're going to buy regardless later on. We're trying to sell more on top of, if they don't buy right away, we can just capture them later on. So, yeah, man. Do you run an agency too, right?
Yeah. We have we do a lot more like lead gen though. Because lead gen for me is a lower hanging fruit. We get them the leads and then we help them with their sales. So we give them scripts, we do sales training with them. Like, we're able to have better upsells and LTV that way. Because like we have 240 clients. So out of the 240, maybe 210 are lead gen. I don't fuck with a lot of e-com.
Yeah.
I have a couple e-com stores that I've been running over the past couple of years because they were like, friends of mine. Or like people.
But the thing I hate about, lead gen really is, and since I feel like you're metrics based too, and you're a numbers based person, right? Which is why, when we first started, I was like, all right, e-com is better just because I can measure from a click to a sale.
Mm-hmm.
Lead gen, when I first started, it was like, I get the leads and the customers will say, hey, they're not converting. I'm like, well, do you have a sales process? Do you have
that is the biggest problem that we have. Yeah. Like, we like lead gen, but when the clients can't close or they don't have that like skill, the only way that we position it, and like we try to forward them into better business owners, we're like, hey, listen, like this is a big problem with a lot of sales-based companies that are on the phone. So here's a couple options. Like, if you need help with these, we can help you, or we can try to we have a coach who can go in and do sales training. We have all these different attributes that they can use to kind of get better. Hey, if you get a lead, are you calling them right away? That's what we call a triage, where it's like, hey, within 5 minutes of that lead coming through in your CRM and go high level, wherever it is, call them right away. Fuck it. Who cares if they booked a call? Like, triage them right away.
Do you give, when you try to sell a client, right? What is the pitch? Is it I will pitch this many leads at this CPL, or is it I will pitch this much revenue at this ROAS?
So we don't actually have a pitch. I guess you could say like the pitch is more on the brand side because people follow my personal brand. So we don't have like a guarantee behind the leads. We have a guarantee behind like, hey, listen, if we get you leads and they just don't book calls and we can't nurture them enough, then you get your money back. because that means that we didn't do enough job on the emails or SMS or the sequences to get them to book a call. Like we didn't build a good enough of an offer. We didn't build a good enough of a creative or copy to get them to actually insinuate, but I've never really had that struggle before.
Got it. So I guess that the next question for you is, how do you manage freaking 240 plus clients, dude? You know?
So with 240, we keep them all in Slack. And then as far as like distribution, I don't know if you do this, but we actually changed something recently that helped us out a ton, was that we make the sales reps become the account manager. Okay. So when the sales rep sells them, and I'm like, I'm trying to walk you through like where the client comes and then where they come in. So basically we run Facebook, Instagram ads and TikTok. We run lead forms and then landing page traffic and a VSL, and then we run them to a book call, which they go to Calendly, and then we use close.io for our CRM. So sales rep takes the call. We have really good show rates because of our system and I like our thank you page and the texts, and like we give them homework to do before their call. So our show rates are like 80%. So then they show up, sales rep closes them. They go to a type form onboarding form. Then they go to the sales rep. Sales reps, now they're like, sales rep is the account manager. So within Slack, they get added to their Slack channel. Sales rep is there because the biggest thing was that this person would sell them, and then they would come in. They're like, who the fuck is this person? Who is that? Where's Mike? Where's Noah? Where are these guys? Why are they not in the Slack chat? They felt like it was like sketchy. And now the first impression, they're not really that happy. They weren't that excited. They're like, where's Jason? I'm like, obviously I'm not talking to every single person.
Yeah.
So it was like, they just kind of had this weird vibe. So I was like, you know what? We're going to pay the sales reps more, incentivize them more, and they're going to be the account managers. So now they get thrown into the chats. And then from there, we have the sales rep, we have a project manager, we have, they get 2 media buyers if they buy a certain tier. So like, depending on which package they choose, they get 1 media buyer, 2 media buyer, 3. Now, obviously the 3 are not full-time on that one account. We try to give them, 20 accounts most each, because they need to manage the traffic sources for them. And it really depends if they're e-com or lead gen, because if they're e-com, then we give them certain media buyers. If they're lead gen, we give them certain media buyers. And then from there, we kind of just have like really streamlined systems with the ads. So for the lead gen clients, we do a lot of like go high level with the lead nurtures and SMS, to where we can do a low hanging fruit lead forms campaign right off the rep. Like we do lead forms with all the right SMS and emails and good qualification, because a lot of people don't like lead forms because they get shit leads. It's because you're not asking enough questions on the lead form. You can filter out. Yeah, you can filter out all the bullshit on a lead form by having not just the multiple choice ones. Because if people knew this, if you only do multiple choice, there's actually softwares out there where people send bot leads and Facebook's fucking you and you don't realize.
Yeah.
So if you send like the one-liners or the multi-text lead form questions, that filters out a lot of the shit leads.
The funny thing is we found that out too. When we were doing it, it was like, do we want to look better and get way lower CPLs that are fake leads, or do we want to do way better and actually have real qualified leads? So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And then like we have 55 team members, so they're distributed correctly across like, how many accounts, what channels. And then we use monday.com. I don't know what you use for task management, but Monday is the shit.
We tried everything, dude. It's honestly, we always revert back to Google Sheets, man. We use ClickUp, Monday.
ClickUp's dope. Yeah, I like it.
I love ClickUp. It's hard to get people. Honestly, nowadays, our team's all like, what is it? What's the generation under millennials? I don't know, whatever the hell is. Maybe it's Gen Z, maybe, right?
Yeah.
They work different, dude. It's like I'm trying to get them to like do like standard operating procedures and follow things on task and do this. And
it's so hard with the SOPs because so that generation is very shiny object syndrome based.
Yeah.
And they see SOPs and their mind immediately goes to school, and people hate school now. So it's like, to train them, like, dude, I hate to be this person, but we did a lot of like, here's the thing that we did that helped. Now, internally, it's not great culture, but like we had to do this because people weren't following SOPs that well. We were like, listen, like, here's the deal. I hate to be this person, but like, if you don't follow an SOP, like you're not going to get paid. Like that's how we did it. And I know that's a dickish thing to do, but dude, people fucking follow it now. We're like, hey, like if you don't follow the SOP, like your payment's going to come late. Because if you're not willing to follow our procedures, you're fucking everybody else's payroll up because they can't perform. So it's like, you can't just sit there behind a laptop and just like think that you're just going to get paid. And that's the problem. COVID and all the shit, they made everybody go virtual, which framed everyone to be lazy. Everyone's sitting at home on their laptops, kicking their fucking feet up. Like that's the
Yeah,
bad, that was the bad problem that happened. And now people are lazier than ever. And this recession's about to hit.
100%.
Dude, that's why they're saying that this recession is going to be the worst, because people, number one, have no financial literacy. Number two is people don't know how to save money. And number three is people are not smart at all. Like, dude, common sense, like we were saying before, is not common. And people always will be like, oh, I'm so confident. Like, I'm so smart. I got a GPA of this in college. And my parents, like, dude, you're still an idiot no matter where you look. Like,
Yep.
if you have, you know, some type of accountability and you have a chip on your shoulder and you actually have no backup plan, those are the people who are the smartest, the people who have no backup plan.
No,
And
it really
if any employees are 25 to 35 years old, they have a backup plan because they have their parents, or they got, you know, like, dude, all this shit with like life insurance and all these things. Like, bro, if your parents die, you're funded, you're chilling. Like, you have no fucking, you have no, like, you have a backup plan. You have no accountability.
I know whenever I get high, by the way, whenever I smoke up, I ponder about like life, right? And it's like, dude, honestly, this is how great societies fall. We get good, and then we coddle our kids, and then it's like they don't have any, they don't have to go through any hardships. They don't have to go and learn things on their own. Everything's handed to them, so it's like they want everything instantly, and it ends up always they just don't know what to do, and I feel bad at the end of the day. But you bring up a great point. I might actually try that. I'll see how it goes. Right? It's
or you do like a KPI thing. So the thing that we did before we did the whole like by the throat shit, we did, hey, listen, like this SOP should be able to generate this amount of productivity. If you can't meet this percentage, then you're going to lose this amount. The other thing too was, since we have a lot of accounts, like we had a problem with communication where the project managers and account managers weren't checking in with the clients every 48 hours. And I was like, okay, well, here's how it's going to work now. If you don't send a message or give the client an update on a 48-hour time frame, you're just going to lose $50 for every single day that you don't give them an update. And dude, we started getting them to do it because they're like, fuck, like I need to do it. You know, like, because that's $1,000 a month if they fuck around. So it's like,
I'm gonna do that.
just
Thank
little
you.
things like that. And it's not like I try to stress to them, because some people, if I like say that out loud during the interview, they're like, wow, that's messed up. I'm like, no, actually, this is a job. And you decided to do the job. We decided to take on the risk. We're the entrepreneur. We're the one who funds this shit. You could sit there and be like, oh, you're mean. I'm like, actually, no, we're giving you accountability that your parents and society's not giving you right now.
It's funny thing is I always read I love reading comments that bombard Elon Musk saying he didn't make shit, or he didn't do this, or he didn't do that. I'm like, dude, without him, none of those workers would actually be either building anything. The people who are funding this all, it's crazy. And I used to read things. It was like a CEO will walk into a boardroom, naked and in socks, and I was like, why the hell would anyone do that? But like what we do right here, it's a crazy mental stress, dude. Like it's prior to this, I could sleep 8 hours, without any drugs or anything. Nowadays, I can't even sleep like 2 or 3 without smoking weed. Like I just have to smoke weed,
Yeah.
So well, I've done a bunch of these podcasts, and I think the best thing, or a question, I'm not the host, but a question for you would be 3 things that through this whole journey that you've learned that other folks can learn from, just because there's a lot of kids who always ask me the same questions.
Yeah. So 3 things. Oh boy.
3 big mistakes.
Okay. So 3 big mistakes that I made. Number 1 is, if you don't have a good relationship with spending money, then you'll never be able to make more. So if you're cheap as fuck, you're going to get cheap results. 2 is that you have to get all your childhood traumas and inner child problems out of the way, because that's gonna give you like limiting beliefs, and you're gonna have problems making money. And 3rd is, don't fall in a shiny object syndrome and always stick to your gut. So a lot of people will push it down your throat, like try this, do this software, run that, and it's like, if what I'm running right now works, it could be better, but it's good right now. Like, why fuck with it? Like, why fuck with what works? And the problem is that making money is boring. So if making money is boring, then I have to touch something to make it different so that it makes it more exciting, and then you fuck it up. And that's, those are the 3 things.
Definitely good, man. I think funny thing is I have a kid asking me these questions right now, and number 3 is kind of what hits home. He fails at one thing and he jumps on to the next, like right away.
But that's the whole online pendulum. It's like, Jason Capital talked to this about me. And he was like, oh, like if you start affiliate marketing, right? You buy a course, it's cheap because people sell cheap shit online. So it's like, okay, you buy the course, you get into it, you're like, dude, this is dope. Like, I'm excited. But then the work comes. You're like, ah, fuck it, next thing. Or like the first failure comes, and that's literally like the whole pendulum.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I never saw it that way, but who'd you say said that? Let me write this down.
Jason Capital. Yeah, he's like my main mentor. He's a dope dude. And he
No,
like talks about this whole pendulum of why people never get results. It's kind of like people starting an agency, right? You start an agency, you buy a course. I'm excited as fuck. I have to do cold outreach.
Mhm.
Oh, this cold email thing. Okay, I'll try it. Oh, cold calls? Nah, fuck that. Affiliate marketing. I just got to get a little website and run ads. Okay. Oh shit, my ads suck. I'm terrible at this. Okay, fuck it. Amazon. Like, dude, like people just literally will go through that pendulum as soon as they get friction.
That's exactly what it is too. And funny thing is, I mean, I never saw it that way, but same exact thing, right? It's like when I'm, when I started doing black hat affiliate marketing when I first started, and there was a couple of friends who started with me, but once they failed, they just failed out. For me, it was like, all right, I'm gonna keep going, even if it's like 10, 20, 30 grand on my credit card. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep failing, and it ended up being an agency. But I think it's really pushing through the friction and really just putting in the work and just grinding through it, And I think a lot of folks don't have that nowadays. They always hear that they buy a course and they think that they can be a millionaire in 3 months. And I'm like, dude, if everyone can do that, everyone would be a fucking millionaire right now.
Yeah.
And it's like
Now, the biggest thing that, dude,
I
I know this is an interesting thing to bring up. So it's like, I feel like the biggest entrepreneurs are always the ones who are the most socially awkward when they first start. I don't know if you see that at all.
Yeah.
Like the ones who can't make good eye contact or who stutter a lot are actually like the best innovators because they're awkward as fuck and they're more like innerly smart than outwardly.
I honestly think that a lot of entrepreneurs are just fucked.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, it's just, I watch your other podcast about it, so I feel like I can say whatever the fuck I want, anyways. But I was trying to get Adderall from my therapist, right? And it was because I was talking to another entrepreneur and he was like, "Hey, dude, I doubled my business with Adderall." I'm like, "All right, you know what? Fuck it, let me just try to get it." It took me 1 whole year to just try to get it from my therapist because it took forever. But when I was doing it, she was like, "Take this test. I think you're bipolar." I'm like, "Fuck that! I'm not fucking bipolar." So I took the test, and she was like, "Yo, dude." She was like, "You're bipolar," and I'm like, "Dude, no fucking way! Like, this is just what entrepreneurs do, like the questions that they were asking." And I was like thinking, all right, maybe all entrepreneurs are kind of fucked up in the head, or at least more, in terms of indexability. I think we're all sort of fucked up somehow to make us do irrational things like trying to start a company when everyone else tells you to get a job. So, would you agree or what?
Yeah, no, I will. I mean, I'm not like, I don't think I'm bipolar. I think that sometimes I get in
not
these,
bipolar, but like fucked up.
Well, yeah. Like I'll get in these swings where people will bring shit to my attention. Like, for example, when you're really busy working, right? And you're massively busy and someone texts you, a friend, and they're like, "Hey, where are we going for dinner?" I'm like, dude, who fucking cares? Just pick a place and send me the address. And they get mad at that. They're like, "Oh, like what? Why are you being a dick?" I'm like, because for me to pick a restaurant, me to find an address is not worth my fucking time. Just pick somewhere. We'll figure it out. Like little things like that will tick me off.
Different people's problems.
Yeah. So it's like we're focused on like our time management and what we value for our time. It's like the thing too, like, do you cook at all? Do you eat out every single meal?
Here and there. I Uber Eats a lot, but I do cook when I try to be healthy. But basically we don't have time for a lot of these things.
Yeah,
so
I'm not gonna fucking fire up the oven. Like, what do I look like? You're fucking Chef Ramsay? I'm not doing that shit.
Exactly.
So
exactly. No, yes. No, we're very much alike, dude. Yeah, dude. I think I'm good, man. I don't know if you have any more questions or anything.
No, man, I'm good, dude. That was a really good chat. We'll like I'll like email you after this. We'll like stay in touch. If then we go like collab, work together, whatever the case may be, dude. If you need help,
where you located at?
I'm in Orlando, but I'm moving to Tampa this weekend.
This Tampa. Oh, you know what? I feel like I might be. If I ever go to Florida, Tampa, I'll hit you up.
All right, sounds good, dude.
Yo, email me your number just in case. I just like connecting with other business owners. So like, if I'm
just take it down. It's just all right. Wait, I gotta stop the recording for someone grabs.